Wednesday, the 30th day of November 2022. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight here on UBC TV, and of course welcome from Qatar, where Tunisia has made it in history, beating the colonial masters France by 1-0. Now let's get into the news, but on sign language it is Mugalu Mohammed who will be joining me shortly, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has urged teachers to respect the principle of prioritization because money is generated through hard work, emphasizing that teachers should be careful to avoid government misinterpreting them as obstructors of progress. While officiating at the National Teachers' Day belated celebrations at Kololo, President Museveni said government prioritized roads and electricity because connectivity is crucial, yet donors were not dependable. Let's have more in this story.
Teachers in Uganda have joined the rest of the world to commemorate World Teachers' Day, which is celebrated every 5th October annually. This day comes at a time when the Education Service Commission completed validation of 38,000 staff. The exercise revealed that 498 public officers were confirmed to possess forged appointments, while 43% of staffing positions need to be filled to achieve equitable education. Government aims at free education for all. However, these government programs, like universal primary and secondary education, that have helped in increasing school enrollment, have been obstructed by head teachers who continue to bring up school charges.
Education grant is not enough. Why don't you raise that? Why don't you make that the main issue? Why don't we struggle with more capitation grants? Because the wish of the government is free education for the children of the poor. Now that is not working well because of the obstruction by the teachers, especially the head teachers, because they bring charges, and because of the charges, the children drop out.
During celebrations to mark World Teachers' Day at Kololo, where teachers fronted the issue of balancing salaries for both science and art teachers in next financial year budget, President Yoweri Museveni said he made the increment of 300% for science teachers because the roads and electricity that government prioritized need scientists.
Please stop this indiscipline. Don't make tumugenda kututomeza. We shall not agree to anybody to make us make a mistake with the roads and with electricity from 2006. Because if we do that, then they will attract factories here, which will help us solve the problem of shortages, but will create jobs, but will also pay taxes. Then we can do other things.
The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, says government sees teachers as part of the solution, offering physical alternatives. She clarifies that national teacher policy is to ensure that the teaching profession is regulated.
Recommended that our teachers, those who are not graduates, to upgrade. And we think this is good for our teachers. And we think that it is good for our country. Because most countries globally now are graduates from universities, even those who teach at pre-primary. And it's demanded of teachers to either be graduates or even have a master's degree in education.
The General Secretary, Uganda National Teachers Union, Philbert Baguma, said the 300% salary increment for one category of teachers has led to disunity and demotivation of teachers. Some of the science teachers have also reported gaps in the procedure of payment.
Uniformity in payment of the increment. It has been noted that some of the implementers of the enhancement do not have clear guidelines on the subjects considered as sciences. As a result, some of the deserving teachers have not benefited from the increment. In some local governments, teachers of physical education are earning the new salary, and in others, they continue not to earn. We therefore request for the clear guideline on who is considered a scientist in the education sector.
Development partners have also expressed fear that if conditions in which teachers operate, like having crowded classrooms, are not improved, they are seeing unprecedented numbers of teachers leave the profession. I'm Navka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has commended microfinance institutions and cooperative societies for promoting social-economic transformation of Ugandans, saying that their spirit of togetherness is what has connected microfinance with national development. The President made the remarks in a speech today, read for him by Vice President Jessica Alupo, during the opening of the two-day annual conference on microfinance and savings groups at Hotel Africana.
Welcome, Her Excellency, the Vice President.
You can never save unless you earn. And you can't earn unless you have business. Therefore, it is very, very important that you create an avenue where people can have access to cheaper credit and start income-generating activities.
Microfinance, cooperative savings, and lending are central to Uganda's journey to socio-economic transformation. The NRM government has rolled out a number of interventions to support microfinance and savings groups. These include Bonaba Bagawale, Emioga, Parish Development Model, Operation Wealth Creation, NADS, etc. These interventions are aimed at enhancing access to finance for all. Access to finance is the lifeblood of economic development. Without affordable loans, people cannot start enterprises. The impact that you make when you are still in the seat, whichever seat the people have placed you in, either LC1 chairman, LC2 member of parliament, the impact that you make within that short time is what translates into results when later on you return back to those people if the occasion demands. So I would like also to use this opportunity, especially to ask Ministry of Finance and other government agencies who are here, use these 5 years to make most formidable impact in terms of service delivery to the people of Uganda, so that when His Excellency the President returns in 2026 to ask the people for the obvious, the people will be giving him testimonies on how Ministry of Finance gave them the services that they demanded or required or requested, and other sectors. The results of ensuring that people access microfinance, especially when they have been trained and guided, are extremely enormous. And 72 billion the minister was talking about speaks volumes to all of us. I just want to encourage you to continue serving the people through your different organizations, and assure you that as government will continue to be your strongest working partners and continue pulling in the same direction with you.
Her Excellency is being presented with a gift from our visitors from India.
Meanwhile, Vice President Jessica Alupo has called upon the country to fight early marriages. While closing the National Summit for Girls here in Kampala, Alupo said early marriages have wrecked the lives of many girls in the country, as we hear in this story.
The girls. Many young girls are still married off in the country This practice has ripple effects on the victims and the country at large. The victim drops out of school, she is at risk of pregnancy complications and is an unprepared mother. And because she hasn't acquired skills, she is in danger of perpetual poverty. In a bid to end child marriages, the government, together with civil society organizations, arranged a girls' summit aimed at intensifying policy and legal advocacy to protect the girl child.
We are putting the lives of our girls and we glorify our culture, and the question is which should really come first.
That the issues of child marriage can be more elevated and discussed at cabinet level.
The Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Major Jessica Alupo, while closing the 50th Summit of the Girl Child, called upon all the stakeholders to ensure girl child are protected against early marriage and child pregnancy.
It is our duty as citizens and leaders to ensure that each child is protected from sexual abuse and has the opportunity to grow up healthy.
The government is committed to coordinate efforts with the civil society organizations about issues that affect the girl child.
Networks, coordination and collaboration of all different stakeholders and organizations from the community to the national level should be strengthened.
The chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Mariam Wangada, warns parents against selling their children into marriage.
Also look at men as partners in ensuring that girls are protected and empowered.
Joseph Moyingo compiled this story for UBC.
African women leaders and first ladies have paid a courtesy visit to Misonokita Elementary School in Saitama Prefecture, Japan, to meet pupils and share experience on how these children are fed while at school. At around 10 a.m. local time, the team arrived at the school and each country visited a different class to share their African experience in education and feeding.
The communique aims at addressing the long-standing challenges that impede countries to increase agricultural production and productivity. Robina Nabanja, Uganda's Prime Minister, at the summit said that time is now for mothers to adapt to new advanced technologies so that they can respond to the changing climate conditions which are affecting food security in most parts of the world.
We've agreed to make sure that our children don't lack food in our nations, and therefore the countries must cope with the growing technologies across the world, and Japan has committed to help us in this regard.
The joint communique also seeks to ensure that the future children in Africa, Asia and the Pacific grow up strong and healthy. The women also committed themselves to ensure that countries where they originate from must acquire the food security technologies from advanced countries. The women leaders expressed their desire to protect the precious lives of children at a time when the whole world is greatly impacted by climate change and go forward into the future in a spirit of cooperation and mutual encouragement as African mothers. Nabanja says that there is a need to use available resources in Africa to address the existing challenges caused by disasters, both human and nature-based.
Weather problems. We have agreed with the countries of Japan and the other African countries to make sure that we mitigate so that our people don't suffer from disastrous weather conditions.
The African countries, my country inclusive, must acquire the food security technologies of advanced countries.
Tofas Kahwa, Uganda's ambassador to Japan and South Korea, says that the summit has come at the right time when the world is in need of transformation from subsistence to commercial farming. Kahwa says that Ugandans need to tap into the opportunities available to develop economically.
And that's why we are here to get advanced technologies in agriculture to our country. They have the technology of making crops resistant to the drought. You can spray, and after spraying, the crops will be resistant in that long drought.
The Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA pledges for more support to countries to address food security concerns and also improve the livelihoods of the people through promotion of new rice for Africa. The summit attracted first ladies and women leaders from Africa, Asia and the Pacific and is running under the theme to cope with food crisis for the future of children by mothers.
And we do sincerely apologize for the mix-up of those stories there, but that one was a story about first ladies and women leaders from the Asia, Pacific and Africa who today signed a declaration committing themselves to adapt to advanced technologies to ensure sustainable food production and clean water that children need to survive. And that was during a two-day of the Asia Pacific and Africa Economic Women Summit in Tokyo, Japan. And the leaders unanimously adopted the declaration to address the plight of women and children on the three continents. But now let's go to that story which we had earlier on introduced, where African women leaders and first ladies have paid a courtesy visit to Misonokita Elementary School in Saitama Prefecture, Japan, to meet pupils and share experience on how these children are fed while at school. Take a watch.
Uganda's Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, accompanied by Uganda's ambassador to Japan, Tofasi Kawa, visited Elementary 5, where they were warmly welcomed by pupils and ushered in their class. Nabanja told the students that Uganda is endowed by nature with beautiful scenery and it is referred to as the Pearl of Africa. A few minutes later, after sharing experiences and the students asking the Prime Minister, it was lunchtime and she was also invited to join the pupils to serve. Nabanja was surprised to see children serving fellow children at lunchtime and even sharing the same meal with the teachers.
You can see that the teachers are eating together with the children.
After a nutritious lunch meal of rice, fish, milk, vegetables plus fruits, Nabanja said that when she returns to Kampala, she will ensure that this approach of parents contributing to the lunch of their children is emulated to foster learning.
The parents contribute 80% and the government contributes 20%.
Keitego Nagawa, member of board of Misonokita Elementary School, says that government contributes to the feeding of the children in addition to the parents' efforts.
The school lunch is subsidized by the government. There are still parents who don't want to pay for the school lunch because it is part of compulsory.
However, Nagawa says that some parents also find it difficult to contribute to the lunch of their children, but it is compulsory.
And rice and milk are subsidized by the government, so the parents only pay for the side dishes.
Earlier on in the day, the visiting first ladies and women leaders participated in a memorial tree planting exercise at Minuma Nature Park in Saitama Prefecture. Masahi Ogawa, the Japan-China Friendship Center President Board Chairperson, said such collaborations between Africa and Japan are healthy for the good of the children and women. Hiroko Sunagawa, Vice Governor, Saitama Prefecture, who spoke on behalf of Motoriho Honuko, Governor Saitama Prefecture, said that Japan will continue supporting Africa in its developmental agenda.
To SDG goals, international goals, I sincerely hope for a successful outcome of the summits with meaning discussions.
The Prime Minister of Uganda, after the tree planting exercise, said that Japanese treasures their culture and environment.
I think each one of us in the country needs to plant a tree.
The summit attracted first ladies and women leaders from Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, and ran under the theme to cope with food crisis for the future of children by mothers. Irene Faith Nantongo, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Now, ever since the government endorsed the Uganda National Policy for Disaster Preparedness and Management way back in 2011, the policy has not yet delivered its intended objective due to the absence of an enabling law and national plan. State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, reveals that the government is in final stages of coming up with the legislation to this end.
Government is in advanced stages of coming up with a disaster preparedness legislation in order to operationalize the National Disaster Contingency Fund in line with Uganda's National Development Plan 3 and Vision 2040. The State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, revealed this during a half-day national dialogue on the disaster contingency funding and planning organized by the Prime Minister's Office and the International Organization for Migration at Golden Tulip Hotel, Kampala.
We are going to speed up this process because of most of the issues, especially the issues of spending the contingency fund. We need it to be appropriated using the law. And also the law is going to help us to have other structures that have not been existing, including making sure that we strengthen the decentralization of all our disaster risk management issues.
The minister urged funders, both civil society and multinational donors, to also extend their attention to disaster-prone areas like the Elgon region and the Kasese region, as opposed to refugee community areas only. Members of Parliament on the Disaster Committee led by Alex Byalugaba Bakunda Isingiro South and Christine Nachimwero Kaya Kiboga District Woman MP pledged to support government to expedite the longer-awaited legislation.
In the name of Parliament, but also the Shadow Minister for Water and Environment, we are calling on everybody to prioritize management of the famine as a disaster. I know people don't want to declare that it is a disaster, but famine is now a disaster.
We do appropriate, thank you, Honorable Doctor, we do appropriate. But then at the end of the day, well,
you are overruled by the ministry.
The Accountant General Lawrence Semakula advised them to plan before the disasters, not after the disasters. Some of the prominent stakeholders pursuing the implementation of the longer-awaited legislation include Oxfam Uganda, Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, and the European Union, among others. Edward Colin Juko for UBC, Kampala.
Now, State Minister for Internal Affairs, General David Muhoozi, has updated Parliament and the country at large on the ongoing criminal attacks on security personnel at police posts. According to General Muhoozi, 10 rifles have so far been recovered, 22 culprits arrested, and 3 assailants put out of action.
On November 18th this year, unknown gunmen attacked and killed a Uganda People's Defense Forces sergeant who was guarding Gaddafi barracks in Jinja district and took off with 2 guns. And in October, thugs attacked Busika police station in Luwero district, where 3 police officers lost their lives and 4 guns taken, plus so many other attacks on security personnel at different police posts. Now, in a statement to Parliament on these attacks, State Minister for Internal Affairs, General David Muhoozi, says 10 rifles have so far been recovered, 22 culprits arrested, and 3 assailants put out of action. Muhoozi adds that operations are still ongoing to bring to book the remaining culprits still at large and also recover remaining weapons.
The killing of 3 assailants in some of the engagements with security. 4 operations are still ongoing to apprehend the culprits still at large and to recover the remaining few weapons.
He says that different smaller police posts have been merged into sizable manageable units with the intention of improving operational efficiency.
Merging far-flung and vulnerable smaller police posts and booths into sizable units to improve operational efficiency and force protection. Number 2, better organization of security installations, that is access controls, front desk staff who attend to the public, as well as invisible reaction groups or persons have been redesignated.
Legislators had this to say on the matter.
Veterans issue is a critical matter that we should address as a country. Otherwise, we are likely to be continuing seeing such similar scenarios because they are the people that have touched the guns and they can steal guns from the fellow forces.
And their motivation, because the pay disparity in police can cause selling of arms.
I don't know why Ministry of Internal Affairs, you are not giving more training to your policemen in our rural police force. Some of them are lazy. Some of them are drinking.
However, in this statement, the government says the country is peaceful and stable and will remain so, and that the security forces will do everything possible to ensure that the public goes about their business without any fear and the law enforcement officers go about their duties without any obstruction or hindrance. Shamim Naiga and Gloria Gutabenji, Parliament.
Now, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has embarked on a process to formulate a 3-year strategic plan to streamline operations for development. Top among these strategies is to align the corporation objectives with Uganda's third national development plan. Deputy Managing Director UBC Maurice Mugisha says critical among the areas of focus are infrastructure, content and human resource improvement.
It is news time and everyone in the control room of UBC TV is busy and attentive.
Messages should be framed in a way that does.
One of the news stories on air is from the Western District of Kabale. The story is talking about access to family planning services. It is a message coming at a time the world population, whose statistics Uganda has contributed to, has recently hit the 8 billion mark. This is just one of the messages that Uganda's national broadcaster, UBC, is seeking to amplify in its 3-year strategic plan.
We are strategically reviewing our business to speak to one of the mandates, which is mindset change. We're also speaking to our digital transformation agenda, but also the public sector transformation program.
Infrastructure, content development, as well as human resource realignment will be given priority.
The country will be known that is on the development spree if people can begin generating local content.
An informed nation, an informed citizenry is a citizen that can actually be able to move from one level of development to another, and UBC plays that critical role. It is not possible to have that done without actually having a plan.
To achieve all this, it will take reasonable financial support from government. In doing so, programs like the recently launched parish development model will be made useful.
Our project implementation action plans are well laid in the NDP3. So what does that mean in essence? We are picking those and tailoring them to now our strategic plan that we are developing.
We are already on the PDM and we're trying to talk to the communities for them to understand what PDM is all about. Then we want also to have the equipment, the cameras, the TVs running. We want to have our radio stations running. We have been translating information about PDM in 27 languages, main languages, but in another 56 different languages.
All these commitments are coming over 3 years since UBC held a comprehensive revamp to realign corporation operations. A lot is said to have been achieved, something management looks forward to consolidating.
The attitude of our listeners was too negative 3 years ago, but as we speak now, it has drastically changed. And UBC, I think, is so much loved as we speak.
Content development is going to be one of our key projects, so that we develop the relevant content that speaks to government's agenda, but also the relevant content that is able to generate us revenue.
UBC has a mission to inform, educate, guide, and entertain the public through mainstreaming a sustainable national coverage. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Palliative Care Association Uganda is seeking over 200 million Uganda shillings to establish a palliative care unit in Karamoja region. The initiative, first of its kind in Karamoja region, is going to address the palliative care gap which has been caused due to increase in non-communicable diseases in the region. Members of Parliament from Karamoja region say the burden of non-communicable diseases in Karamoja has been worsened by poor road connections and absence of a special care unit.
And have a session to interact with you. A mobilization for the palliative care service in Karamoja region. Right now we have 2 facilities which provide palliative care in that region. We have the Moloto Regional Referral Hospital. We also have St. Kizito Maternity Hospital. The need for palliative care increases every day because we see a trend where non-communicable diseases increase every day.
Actually, our palliative patients, they have liver problems. That is due to hepatitis B and alcohol consumption. There's also one thing. We have NGOs, very many vehicles, you see them going to Karamoja region, but none of them think of helping palliative care area. They are talking about TB, HIV, malaria, but palliative care is neglected. So we are urging those NGOs.
Government is paying for oral liquid morphine, which is a drug of choice for management of severe pain, also moderate pain, and the government pays for that, and they will be speaking about it, the medical people, and the patients can access that.
News Tonight will now take a short break, but we'll return with much more. Do stay with us.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kabiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologuma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Wake-up band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations call 0785-961-910. Dress code retro style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me. Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just set it for register. Yes. Become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, in partnership with National Planning Authority, will on Thursday, 1st December 2022, launch the second national strategy for private sector development. During the 13th National Competitiveness Forum, the launch will be officiated by Honorable Matya Kasaija, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, at the Golf Course Hotel, Kampala, starting 8 a.m.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Now, the Ugandan government, through the Ministry of Health and Uganda Cancer Institute, is developing the National Cancer Control Plan to help reduce cancer incidence and mortality, as well as improve life support and service delivery among cancer patients. Take a watch.
According to findings conducted by Uganda Cancer Institute, about 4,000 new cancer patients are registered annually in Uganda. However, cancer patients face a number of challenges that include weak infrastructures, insufficient funding, and human resource problems. This is what prompted the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Health and Uganda Cancer Institute to develop the National Cancer Control Plan to support efforts and streamline avenues towards cancer prevention and control in Uganda.
National Cancer Control Plan helps to streamline interventions in cancer control. Apparently, you will see that cancer interventions are not properly coordinated, then services are highly centralized and mostly urbanized.
The biggest challenge that I have as a patient is because of my treatment, and since the treatment is just within Kampala and Cancer Institute, it's very challenging for me to leave this place. I can't go to another place because if I went there, that would mean I will not be able to access my treatment.
At a meeting on the costing, funding mechanisms and adoption of the Uganda National Cancer Control Plan in Kampala, Dennis Olodi, the acting director, Uganda Cancer Society, laments on how the plan will see cancer disease statistics drop.
We have resource constraints. We can't fund everything alone. You've been inside there and you have looked at the document. Much of the money is not even coming from us. So as civil society, we are trying to galvanize efforts. We are trying to bring different stakeholders together.
The head of cancer prevention services at Uganda Cancer Institute Mulago, Dr. Nolebu Mugisha, is hopeful that if the plan is fully implemented, this will help fight against cancer spread.
And we hope that when we have this plan approved and is being implemented, then every stakeholder, everyone involved in the fight against cancer will pick an intervention.
Dr. Gerard Mutunji, the Assistant Commissioner for Non-Communicable Diseases at the Ministry of Health, is optimistic the burden of non-communicable death rate will be limited.
In the communities now, if you go and ask what kills people, it's non-communicable diseases. We are, I think, over 40% of the deaths now. We must act. We can't keep quiet. We can't remain only at the Uganda Cancer Institute and we think we shall manage cancers in the country.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
A State Minister for Cooperatives, Ngobi Gume Frederick, has encouraged the cooperators in the country to remain calm as government is committed to amend the Cooperatives Act into one law to strengthen the SACCOs and the cooperative movement. Minister Gume said the Cooperative Act, Tier 4 Microfinance and Moneylenders Act have already been submitted to Cabinet to be amended into a law. We have more in this story.
Not on a law.
The first one was
Government, through the Ministry of Trade, Industries and Cooperatives, is committed to strengthening the cooperatives and SACCOs in the country by amending laws aimed at regulating them. The State Minister for Cooperatives, Ngobi Gume Frederick, says the cooperators should remain calm, that the Cooperative Act, Tier 4 Microfinance and Moneylenders Act have already been submitted before Cabinet to be integrated into one law and the long-awaited reviving of the Cooperative Bank.
I want to assure you that we are now walking the talk and steam with my brother. On the Cooperative Bank, we have already sent out people, the paper is ready. I will need you to see these people, we discuss it, you give me the support necessary. We will go all of us to Cabinet because we want to consult you. And then we pass that and then move ahead.
Minister Ngobi Gume was speaking during the stakeholders meeting on cooperative policy, legal framework and the role of Uganda Cooperative Alliance held at Silver Spring Hotel in Bugolobi near Kampala. The minister further urged cooperatives to prioritize growing value addition crops to fight poverty.
We fight the middlemen, not fighting them by hitting them, but what other better offers do we have to outcompete the middlemen? You should be now advocating to say government pay us our compensation with such that we go and buy coffee. We are stuck. We are stuck, irrespective of who the financial squeeze.
The General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Ivan Asimwe, commended government for establishing programs aimed at poverty alleviation like PDM.
Regulating SACCOs without regulations, but the courts are saying if a bigger SACCO like Wazalendo now, if it happened that someone defaults, then going to court is a bit very tricky because they are using a law but without regulations. So that is why we are here today. And this is a matter of urgency which we needed to handle as a team to make sure that we solve it. Because you know, these cooperators and SACCOs down there are very innocent, they don't know what is happening.
It's noted that the Uganda Cooperative Alliance, the umbrella of all cooperatives and SACCOs in the country, was established in the 1960s and over 40,000 registered SACCOs are already serving 4 million people. Brian Tumwinebiaruhanga, Fred Kasibante, UBC News.
The State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has vowed to deal with opportunistic land grabbers who have made it a habit to forcefully evict people from land in Bunyoro region, taking advantage of the emerging oil business. The minister was addressing Cooperative district leaders and residents during a one-day land rights sensitization meeting organized by the district land office at Tito Winyi Primary School.
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me. Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chancellor Wega, Sweet Kid, Kabuye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologuma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Wake Up Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations, call 0785 961 910. Dress code Retro Style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has expressed concern regarding some optimistic land grabbers in the Bunyoro region claiming to have backing from the Bunyoro Kingdom.
mu Bunyoro sub-region yonna mu Kikuube district kyonna kiwedde kidayiro munyazi era bw'aba ayina ebyapa byafunyeko abo abakoze zilizeezi nga bazikola nti omukama yampadde lizeezi osazibwemu oyo akola n'agamba nti Buganda Land Board yatadde ebyo byonna tebigoya amateeka bisaziwemu ekintu kiwedde olwaleero.
The minister also pledged to cancel all disputous land titles.
Olwekyo ndagira ebyapa byonna bye bakoze nga teriiko erya komiti nga oba biriko erya komiti kyokka nga kuliko abantu abaliko oba nga kuli ebyo byonna ndagira kati commissioner and registration byonna bisazibwemu.
Residents accused their respective village leaders for allegedly convening with the land grabbers who in return offer them bribes. Chikube RDC Imran Tumusime appealed to the minister to accord him more security since his life is under threat from the same land grabbers.
Of your directives, I'm going to make sure that I engage the investor who is Hoima Sugar in this particular.
Florence Natumanya, the district woman member of parliament, appealed to the minister to act fast before the innocent residents are regarded homeless or refugees.
Minister, tutukwenda tulenti bahaiho abantu 40 rundi 30. Tukwenda kuinganiza abantu bano bona baba compensating ko mulingo bali hano mbolingo balikaire hano. Tukwenda kura ni basororamu abantu bona babainganize. They are not being ferried and brought here. These are people who are just from that land and they brought them here.
And they cannot be forgotten.
So it's not a propaganda that they are being ferried here when it's time for, when the leader comes or when there is compensation.
Can find an alternative piece of land where they can resettle with their families, build their new homesteads and are able to restart life.
It's alleged that a One Prince Chimera leased the land to Hoima Sugar Works investor with consent from Bunyoro royals. They claim they have never been compensated.
Item of business news, and British American Tobacco has donated a hammer mill, which is a mobile cigarette destruction machine, to Uganda Revenue Authority to support the fight against illicit trade in cigarettes. Acting Commissioner Customs Godfrey Okaka says the hammer mill will provide a more convenient and cost-efficient way to destroy illicit cigarettes compared with manual methods.
Adopted a purposive initiative to combat illicit cigarette trade to protect the Ugandan market.
So this helps us to identify the ones that are legitimately supposed to be in our market and the ones that are supposed to be exported. But when you look at what we can talk about, the major illicit trade that we are experiencing in the subsector of the tobacco, then we have the alcohol and wines. Those are the major ones.
The chairperson, Kampala City Traders Association, Thaddeus Musoke, encourages business players to adhere to legal procedures of trade.
Because you find that many traders who try to smuggle, their goods are intercepted, their goods are confiscated. So for business survival, our traders have to comply.
27.5% of the cigarettes sold in Uganda are illicit. Additionally, 56% of these illicit cigarettes are manufactured in Uganda for export, with the rest being manufactured in other countries before being smuggled into the country. Irene Faith Nantongo, Weekly.
And that story brings us to the end of news tonight, this Wednesday, the 30th day of November 2022. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Mugalu Mohammed, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. But do remember that at 10 p.m. we shall be having Behind the Headlines, and I'm going to leave you with a sneak peek of what you should expect.